Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. So in today's lecture, the topic for today's lecture is respiratory diseases and cystic fibrosis. So beginning with the respiratory diseases, let me tell you that respiratory diseases may be it is a type of diseases that affects your lungs and other parts of your respiratory system. Respiratory diseases may be caused by any of the infection, or most commonly it is caused by your smoking tobacco or by breathing in second hand tobacco smoke and radon, asbestos or other form of air pollution. So respiratory diseases generally firstly includes your asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, that is also known as the COPD, pulmonary fibrosis, pneumonia and lung cancer, and also called the lung disorder and pulmonary diseases. So students, as you know that your lungs are part of a complex system that and expanding and relaxing thousands of times each a day to bring in oxygen and send out your carbon dioxide out of the body. So lung diseases can happens when there are problem in any of the part of this system, means including all the respiratory system, including your lungs, bronchi, alveoli, your alveoli, air sacs and tracheates. So lung disease affecting the airways, that is your windpipe, also known as trachea, branches into the tubes called the bronchi, which in turn becomes the smaller tubes throughout your lungs. And diseases that can affect these airways includes such as I told, asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases and pulmonary fibrosis, pneumonia. So these are the diseases that are generally caused by causing the effect on your respiratory system. So in that, the first comes your asthma. So asthma is a suboptimum intake of antioxidant micronutrient that contributes to the development of asthma. Basically it is a lung disease, and generally obesity is also if the person is suffering from obesity, so he may or she may suffer from have a great chance of suffering from this asthma disease. A diet rich in fruits and vegetables have better respiratory health, and a diet compatible with the balance of good health may help to reduce the asthma. Also, an increase in sodium intake is associated with the airway reactivity and increases the symptoms in patients with the asthma. So an excessive salt intake should therefore be avoided in this situation. There is also that I told, obesity is also associated with increased risk of asthma, and weight loss has been shown to improve the respiratory symptoms in the overweight patient. So the next is your chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, that is also known as COPD. So in COPD, the patient with COPD are frequently malnourished, and its prevalence is nearly 25 to 60% in the whole world. So this is of concern because undernutrition is associated with poor respiratory function and also with increased susceptibility to infection, and COPD is associated with poor prognosis. So in return, if you are suffering from malnutrition, that means your body is not getting the proper nutrition, and that is why your body is weak in nature, and your immune system is also weak in nature, and you could not able to fight the infectious diseases or any of the foreign materials that comes in contact with your body, and that is happening just because of weak immunity or system of your body. So in order to build up that immunity system of your body, you should have a proper nutrition for that, so that you could not come under the category of undernutrition. So coming out from the undernutrition is very important in this situation. For this, your oral nutrition support can have beneficial effect on respiratory as well as skeletal muscle strength, walking distance and well-being in underweight patient who gains greater than 2 kg, and importantly is not associated with any detrimental effects. Now next is your lung cancer. So lung cancer is the third type of disease, third type of respiratory disorder. It is the second most common malignancy with an annual incidence of approximately 37,000. Generally, the lung cancer happens when person smokes or chewing tobaccos in large quantities. Sometimes smoking contributes to 90% of the cases of lung cancer. In this case, a higher intake of fruits and vegetables has a slightly protective effect in this method. So eating fruit and vegetables rather than taking the supplement is thus recommended. And also, patients with lung cancer are frequently undernourished, and especially in more advanced stage, so nutrition support should be considered in context of their treatment and prognosis. This has been attributed to their antioxidant content, but trials shown that antioxidant, that is beta carotene supplements, do not yield the same benefit and are in fact associated with increased risk of lung cancer. So supplements in this case, if you are taking, that should be not considered, and in replace of your supplements, if you go for the natural vegetables and fruits, that will be beneficial for your health in lung cancer. Next topic is your lung transplantation. So in lung transplantation, generally approximately 120 lung transplants are taken each year. Patients with end stage of lung diseases are frequently malnourished. Those with a BMI of less than 17 or 20 or between 17 to 27 kg per meter square have a greater chance of dying at 90s and after transplant compared to those with BMI between 17 to 25 kg per meter square. So pre-surgical nutrition support has been shown to be effective in increasing body weight in underweight patient, and nutritional assessment and advice before the transplant may help improve the outcome. So before you are going for any surgery, means regarding this lung transplantation, the nutritional support and nutritional assessment is very important for the patient and also for the doctor, because on the basis of the nutritional assessment he will be able to guide for the future it will be beneficial for the future aspects in terms of giving the proper nutrition to the patient. Next is your tuberculosis. So undernutrition is a risk factor for developing the tuberculosis, that is TB, and patients who are malnourished are at greater risk of dying and than those who are not. So vitamin D deficiency has been implicated. Generally, worldwide, if we talk about, approximately 9 million new cases of active TB have been diagnosed in each year. And the main factor for this is your undernutrition and some of the infection that is caused in your lungs that results in your tuberculosis. So patients with TB and those at risk do not require a special diet but would benefit from a well-balanced diet providing an adequate intake of all the macro and micronutrients. Here are some other diseases, that is lung diseases that affects the air sacs, that means your alveoli. For this, the first is your pneumonia. In pneumonia, an infection of your alveoli, usually by bacteria and viruses, including the coronavirus that causes COVID-19. So it is the most common disease nowadays. You are heard about this COVID-19 and will be familiar for this disease. Next is your emphysema. So this happens when the fragile link between the alveoli are damaged. Smoking is the casual cause for emphysema and also limit airflow and affecting your airways. Third disease of your respiratory is your pulmonary edema. So in this case, what happens? Fluid leak out of the small blood vessels of your lung into the air sacs and the area around them. So one form is caused by your heart failure and back pressure in your lungs, blood vessels, and in another form, injury to your lung causes the leak of fluid. So pulmonary edema can be caused by two cases. Firstly, due to your heart failure, and secondly, due to any of the injury has been caused by the patient, and due to which the alveoli get damages and leaks out the fluid. The fourth is your acute respiratory distress syndrome, that is ARDS. This is a severe and sudden injury to the lungs from a serious illness. That is, for example, COVID-19 is one of the most common example for this. So many people who are acute respiratory distress syndrome need help in breathing from machines called the ventilator until their lungs get properly recovered. Last one is your pneumoconiosis. That is, this is a category of condition caused by inhaling something that injures your lung. For example, it includes black lung disease and from the coal dust, or asbestosis from asbestos dust. So these all are the diseases that is caused by, or in which I told that respiratory system diseases disorder means the disease in any of the, that is the disease can happen when there are problem in any part of the system. So the air sac is the part of a respiratory system, and these are the 5 diseases which are included in this air sacs in this disorders. Now next, so in this what happens, your airways branch into tiny tubes that ends in a cluster of air sacs called your alveoli. So these air sacs make up most of your lung diseases, and these are the diseases: pneumonia, emphysema, pulmonary edema, acute respiratory distress syndrome, and pneumoconiosis is the most commonly disorders that happens affecting your alveoli. Along with this, there are certain diseases that may affect your blood vessels. That is, the right side of your heart gets a low oxygen from your veins. It pumps blood into your lungs through the pulmonary arteries, and the blood vessels can have diseases as well. So blood vessels also get disease, also get some of the disorders. The first is your pulmonary embolism. So in this case, what happens? A blood clot, usually in a deep leg vein called deep vein thrombosis, breaks off, travels to your heart and gets pumped into your lung. The clot sticks in your pulmonary artery and often causes your shortness of breath and low blood oxygen level. The next disease in this, the next disorder in this blood vessel is your pulmonary hypertension. In many conditions can cause a high blood pressure in your pulmonary arteries. So this can lead to shortness of breath and chest pain if your doctor can't find a case that will call it idiopathic pulmonary arterial hypertension. So including this lung disease affecting your blood vessels, in previous slide we have learned about the lung diseases that affects your alveoli. Next is your blood vessel. There are certain diseases also that may affect your chest wall. Means Your chest wall, as we know, also play an important role in breathing. So muscles when contact your ribs to each other, helping your chest expand. You, as you know, the system of respiratory system, how you inhale and how you exhale. In that case, when muscles connect your ribs to each other, it helps your chest to expand and your diaphragm descend with each breath, also causing chest expansion. So diseases that affect your chest wall also affects your lung, also comes included in your lung diseases. So the first in that is your obesity hypoventilation syndrome. So it is caused when extra weight on your chest and belly is deposited, and it make it hard for your chest to expand. So this may cause a serious breathing problem. So gaining extra weight is also not very good condition for your breathing. In that case, there is also a disorder that is neuromuscular disorder. In this case, the person might have trouble in breathing when the nerves that control your respiratory muscles don't work the way they should. In that case, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis and myasthenia gravis are examples of neuromuscular lung disease. Next is your cystic fibrosis. So in cystic fibrosis, it is an autosomal recessively inherited disorder that affects your exocrine glands and leading to pancreatic insufficiency and chronic lung diseases. So weight loss and undernutrition are associated with the worst clinical outcome. Here are some of the causes. Causes of weight loss and undernutrition in cystic fibrosis includes, firstly is impaired nutrient absorption. So inadequate secretion of pancreatic enzymes could be treated by your replacement therapy. If adequate pancreatic enzymes are taken, there is no need to limit dietary fat in almost all the patients. So fat restriction may have a detrimental consequences because of the associated restrictions in energy intake. So in a very small minority of cases where steatorrhea cannot be controlled adequately in spite of appropriately taken high dose pancreatic supplements, that is a modest fat restriction should be tried and energy intake must be maintained. Third cause is increased requirement. Energy needs increases due to the increase in cost of respiration. It is estimated that energy requirement are 120 to 150% of the normal, and protein requirement are also likely to be increased as a result of increase in nitrogen loss via the gut or septum. So an intake of 120% of reference nutrient intake is recommended in this situation. Third is your poor food intake. So appetite may be poor due to tiredness and repeated chest infection. There is an increased respiratory tract secretion may discourage the intake of some supplement drinks. The nutrient density of the diet should be considered to ensure that requirements are met within the limited quantity of the food consumed. So next let's talk about the nutritional management. The first point is regular review by registered dietitian with experience in this area. Nutrient intake is significantly greater in cystic fibrosis patient when they are reviewed at least annually by a dietitian. Second is consideration of oral supplements. Means while some patient may be able to consume sufficient ordinary food to meet their needs, other will benefit from homemade or commercial supplements will be of good beneficial for the health if you be provided, the patient is provided with the homemade or commercial supplements. Third is consideration of overnight tube feeding. So overnight tube feeding, this is again the nasogastric tube or the PEG. This may be useful for the patient who are unable to maintain an adequate oral intake in the long term or for the shorter period following an exacerbations of respiratory problem. It is particularly beneficial in children where overnight feeding for 6 months is associated with improved nutritional status and catch-up growth. Next is your infant with cystic fibrosis, means the small children who are suffering from the cystic fibrosis. So in this condition, ideally cystic fibrosis baby should be breastfeeded. They require pancreatic enzyme with each feed. Alternatively, regular infant formula can be given again with the pancreatic enzymes, and pancreatic enzyme should be mixed with little breast milk or formula and given to the infant on a spoon. This should not be given with the formula milk in a bottle or feeder. So some infant with high energy requirement may need additional supplementation. This should be undertaken with the advice of a registered dietitian with a pediatric experience. There also occur some complicating factors in cystic fibrosis and diabetes mellitus. So due to increased survival, up to 30% of the cystic fibrosis patient develop diabetes, and the dietary advice for the two conditions need to be reconciled. It is imperative to maintain an adequate energy intake, so fat should not be restricted, but some saturated fat can be replaced by again monosaturates, as a bulky increased carbohydrate diet may not be practical. Foods contributing refined carbohydrates should not be restricted but eaten in conjunction with other items to dissipate the glycemic effect. There is also complication that occurs when cystic fibrosis of suffering a person having also the liver diseases. So it occurs in up to 25% of the cystic fibrosis patient. Additional problem with malabsorption may occur if bile composition is altered or output is decreases, and this may not be remedied by the increasing pancreatic enzyme and supplements. So if it is therefore necessary to decrease fat intake, and this should be avoided if possible, then an adequate energy intake must be maintained using the carbohydrate and protein source. Liver transplantation may be necessary and usually leads to an improvement in pulmonary function as well as the restoration of liver function. Thank you for being with us. I hope you have understood all the disorders and what type of nutrition a patient should be if he or she is suffering in having some respiratory disorder. For more information related to this, you can log on to our website www.itlsacademy.com and register yourself. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, LinkedIn, and yes, do not forget to subscribe our channel ITLS Academy at YouTube. Thank you.